Hey, so I want to do a little ball rolling video today. So my last video, I did a psoas, hip flexor, abdominal, fascial releasing of the front body, abdomen area, and I encourage that folks to do, as often as you can. It helps to kind of release the rib cage, the things that keep us pulled forward and keep us stuck, helps us stand taller, releases the psoas from the lower back. Extremely beneficial. All sorts of good stuff. Helps you breathe better. It's great. But in line with that standing taller, obviously not everything is here. So we work our way up. Now, when it comes to the rib cage, the pecs, the shoulders, we want to engage in, when it comes to the balls, we'll continue to use the balls for the releasing. We'll continue to use the hold in a spot, breathe, allow for that expansive inhale, elongated exhale. You want to continue to allow this breath to flow, this expansive inhale, elongated exhale. So what this particular breathing does is this lets our tissues know that it's okay to let go. And it lets our fascia know that we're supposed to release, that we're supposed to let go. So when we have these balls in certain spots and we hang out for a period of time, this is what we're doing, is we're allowing the tissues to release around the ball. We're not foam rolling. We're not just mashing tissues, not steamrolling. The tissues feel like they're under assault in this situation, and they want to protect themselves. They want to contract more. So instead, when it comes to the balls, we want to understand this releasing around the ball. Breathe. Connect with your body. Notice where your mind goes. When your mind goes anywhere else, bring it back to the experience within the body. Where are these sensations going? Are they staying right here, or am I feeling something going up into my neck, down in my back, across to the other side? What is going on experientially in my body? So these are some of the things I want you to keep in mind as we move forward. So we have our little black balls and we have our white balls. Now, white balls are better for larger surfaces. Smaller balls are better for smaller surfaces or for more detailed work. So we are going to start with the large ball. Now I'm going to maintain sitting for this video, but this whole video will be a representation of you laying down on the ball. So I'll show for demonstration purposes. We're going to start with the ball right in our sternum, not on our sternal notch, not right at that area where our whatever xiphoid process, not at the bottom of the rib cage. We got a little point, but just above it, right in the middle of our sternum. We'll start there, and we're going to lay down on this ball. We're going to lay here. We're going to allow our inhale and exhale. Allow our head to rest on our hands. Allow ourselves to breathe into the ball, to breathe into our back body. Allow for that expansive inhale and that elongated exhale. I'm going to sit up now, but I want you to continue to lay down on your ball. And as I practice and sitting, it's so you can indicate where you are with the ball and laying down. So we're keeping the ball right on our sternum. We're allowing ourselves to be rested, to be supported, allowing ourselves to breathe. And already you'll start to feel areas of the posterior rib cage, areas of the vertebrae you'll feel space getting created as we inhale, as we exhale. And in any of these postures, positions, will be in these particular areas for anywhere from 3 to 5 breaths to 10 to 15 breaths. It really depends on what's going on with you and your body. But after the period of time comes up, we'll start to, with the pressure on our ball, we'll allow that ball to roll up the sternum. We'll hang out there and breathe. So we're laying face down with the ball right in between our pecs, in the middle of our chest. We'll inhale and exhale. I can't stress enough the importance of that expansive inhale and that elongated exhale. As you expand the connective tissue on the deep inhales, on the expansive inhales, you stretch that fascia, you stretch that connective tissue. And then as you exhale, you allow for the tissues to sink, to release. You allow the ball to sink deeper. You allow the connective tissue to become more pliable. So the breath is not to be forgotten. It is the thing. After a period of breaths, 3 to 5 breaths, 5 to 10, 10 to 15 breaths, we'll continue to move it up a little further. So now right below that sternal notch, you can even have your head right on the ball. You can have your neck, your chin resting on it. You can hang out for a period of time. Be hanging out like this. Obviously, you want to make sure you're not pressing into your windpipe or anything like that, and it's going to cause injury. And after the same period of time, 3 to 5 breaths or so, you're going to allow yourself to roll over to the right here. Get a little bit of pressure, a little bit of inhale and exhale on the SCMs here. I'm not going to be here long. And again, 3 to 5 breaths. And then from here, and again, we allow our head to roll over the other side. We allow that ball to hang out right around the SCM, 3 to 5 breaths. We allow that expansion from the chin and the chest. Allow that connective tissue to release. And then after that period of time, allow ourselves to release. Press ourselves up onto our elbows. Take the pressure off, we reset. Now from here, we're going to start getting more into the pecs. You should already notice some heat, some releasey, some tingly. You should feel from here up to here, already feel this area starting to get warm or getting loose. Might even feel like you can breathe a little better. So from here, we can either continue to use the white ball, and if you're new, I encourage maintaining the white ball. It's a little less invasive, as long as the pressure's not too much. We'll be doing pec work, and we're moving on into the shoulders. Now, there's some folks that would prefer or require the use of the black ball, which you can do the same work with the black ball, either on the ground, or if a little deeper, you can have a block under it, and have the block under the ball, laying with the block on the ground, ball on top of the block, then laying down, allowing the black ball to sink deeper into the tissues here. Now with the smaller ball, things are going to be a little bit more intense. Work's going to be a little bit more detail oriented. So depending on your physiology, your body structure, you may have to try both, see which one feels better for you. I encourage the white one if you're just starting out, if you're not sure, because with the increased surface area, you got a little less risk of hurting yourself, of doing anything that feels uncomfortable, and you're hitting larger surface areas. So you're able to kind of grossly hit areas. But so same thing, we're going to start in the same spot, middle of the sternum, bottom of the sternum, but middle of the chest. And laying down, we're going to allow ourselves to roll to the left so that the ball is right on the pec muscle. Obviously with women or certain men, you're going to have excessive breast tissue. You're going to have to either allow the ball to press through the tissue. You can adjust, kind of weight shift a little bit to where you're around it a little bit. But you really want to start at the bottom of the pec here, and which is below and to the left of the breast tissue for most of us. But you want to find the beginning of that pec major area and just kind of hang out, breathe. Same thing, expansive inhale, elongated exhale. And we start getting into these areas with the musculature groups. We want to start engaging in movements and contract, relax. So if you see my previous videos, you understand the basic concepts that squeezing a muscle and releasing is a way to allow the ball to press deeper. Also doing particular movements is a way to release holding patterns. So while we have the ball on our pecs, when I'm right on the pec major, my favorite thing is just squeezing and releasing. I just think it feels so good, and I feel tension go through to the back of my shoulder. And so I'm simply just squeezing my arm to my side body and releasing. And there's ways to get more specific, but short and sweet. Just squeezing that muscle and releasing, squeezing and releasing. You'll feel the pecs contract and release and allow the ball to sink deeper into the tissue. Now this process should not be a quick process. It should not be fast. This is not foam rolling. This is taking our time, connecting with our body, allowing the tissues to sink down around the ball. So there should be a process that takes 45 minutes or so. For the sake of this video, I have sped it up, and I'm doing the process mostly verbally. But my hope is that you will take the concepts and apply them to your own practice. So while we have the ball sitting here, we did the contract, relax, we squeeze the pec, release. And with us laying down, we can start to bring our arms out to the side, bringing them up over our head, bringing them down. When it comes to connecting with these practices, we have to understand that bodies are different, areas are different. As we're moving our arms through these planes, as we're moving our body, we keep the breath flowing. We may have to slightly turn our arms. You may have to squeeze and release in certain areas. This is part of the practice of you getting in contact with your body. So even as I'm doing this movement, maybe for you kind of turning your elbow in a little bit or making little rotations feels good for the tissue in your chest. This is part of you embracing the sensations within your body. So on top of just bringing the thumbs up, thumbs down to the side, thumbs up, thumbs down to the side, arms straight out, you can also have the arm straight up. So where you have your arms bent in like a goalpost position, palms facing the ground, bringing your arm up and down, and down. Repeat this movement, squeezing and releasing. Kind of keep this going. After a few movements there, after some good breath, we want to roll the ball up to where it's right on the meaty part of the pec. So this, for me, this is right above my nipple. For some of you, this might be very far from your nipple. But find the musculature beneath the breast tissue. Sometimes doing stuff, engaging in the actual breast tissue itself is very good. There's a lot of connective tissue that gets bound up in the breast tissue itself. So if that's your focus, that's fine. I'm not saying that's wrong. It's just right now I'm kind of engaging with the pec major itself. So we want to maintain that contract, relax. Same thing, moving our hand through a series of movements. You know, you can even weight shift. You can roll your body slightly more to the left, to the right. You can find, because sometimes approaching a muscle directly doesn't quite get the release that we're looking for. So sometimes if you can approach it obliquely, if you can kind of come at it from the side, you are able to kind of get pressure into those fibers in a different way. So sometimes even if we're here, if we allow ourselves to roll a little bit more, which will make our way that way, then you can allow for a little bit deeper releasing in the pecs. You know, and same thing, you can, by this point, you're going to start noticing the ways in which you move your arm to elicit particular sensations, experiences within the tissue. So you can keep the breath flowing, you can keep the arm moving. And after a few more contract, relax, a few more cycles of expansive inhale, elongated exhale of the movement, we'll move the ball to the area of our coracoid process. Now this little troublemaker is the insertion point for multiple muscles, for multiple tissues. This is an area that it causes a lot of forward pulling. I encourage the smaller ball for this area just because of its ability to get a little deeper. But yet again, you can do just fine with the white ball. You're just not going to get as deep, which if this is your first time using the balls, you don't really want to go that deep. When it comes to the pec minor area, we still want to think about the contract, relax. We want to think about bringing the arm overhead, same thing. We want to think about, you know, making big movements. You can turn the arm in, turn the arm out. Any of these shoulder movements, we can squeeze, release. We can make little movements with our shoulders while you're laying down. Any of these movements feel good. You will feel which ones feel good for your body and which ones feel kind of not so good. So. And maybe you do, after a few breaths, you do allow for a little bit of rolly. Sometimes the rolly stuff feels good. You know, allowing yourself to roll to the right. You know, you can get a little bit of that weighted movement on your pec. You just want to allow for that maintain as much of the pressure as you can to really allow for the connective tissue to be released. And the slower you go, the better. So if you're able to slowly, with pressure, allow that tissue to move around, you'll feel the differences. So we can even pause for a second if you like and kind of sit up, check in. I haven't even really been laying down and I can feel the difference of just holding the ball on that area. I notice the difference in my tissues. So I encourage you to kind of maintain doing one side and then switch to the other. Your practice is your practice. You can also go further into the deltoids, out to the shoulders here. You can get further into the rib cage here. At this point, you can pretty much play around with this ball area in your area. You can be laying flat and allow yourself to roll to get the ball underneath your rib cage. Maybe you roll it back and forth. That's one of the beautiful parts about these balls, is that you can allow them to roll over surface areas that you wouldn't otherwise get to, which there's a lot of tension that gets trapped in our rib cage. So the ability to release the intercostal area, the cartilage that keeps the ribs stuck together. You got some really deep releasey stuff. I encourage you to never do just one side, even if that's the side that the problem's on. I can guarantee you there's some stuff going on the other side too. So I have the mic on my left pec, so I'm not going to be showing that. But same thing, start in the middle, roll your ball out to the bottom side of the tissue, breathe, contract, relax, move your arm through a series of movements, adjust the positioning, repeat the pattern. Maybe some rolling after a period of time, but just slow and controlled. Maintain pressure, maintain the breath, and explore. The purpose of the myofascial ball rolling is to engage with your body and what's going on with it. So we're not, yet again, we're not using the mind to help us fix our body, because most of us know that ends horribly. We're using our body to help tell us what's going on in our body. So use these balls as an awareness tool, an ability to explore what's going on within my tissues. So for now, we just did the chest and the rib cage. Remember, getting on the rib cage, getting into the lats. You can keep going. In future videos, I'll do the back, we'll do the hips, we'll do the arms, we'll do the legs. But you can play around, you know, as long as you're maintaining your breath, not hurting yourself, understand the difference between pain and discomfort. You can really explore your body and create some awareness around areas that you didn't even know you had issues going on. And when we can find the areas that are holding that we don't even know about, that's how we allow ourselves to have more energy, because we're releasing stuff that we didn't know we were holding on to. So I hope you're enjoying your ball rolling